Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lakbay. My name is 134, and I hope you have a good time today. In this episode, we're starting above our underwater cactus farm that we finished last episode. This is the second time, I think, that we have finished a progression goal with cactus-related stuff, but that's just a happy coincidence. But this is the cactus farm we built last episode to finish our progression goal for Alpha 1.0.14. As you can see, as cactus grows, they're broken by the signs. Sometimes they aren't, but that's fine. Because, as we look under here, we're getting some cactus out of it. We don't need this many cactus at the moment, but we might at some point, so we built the farm. Now it is time for us to discuss what we want to do for Alpha 1.0.15. Now this is the update which introduces multiplayer to Minecraft, or at least non-official multiplayer to Minecraft, in the sense that anyone can make a server for multiplayer. But we're not playing a multiplayer series, the single player series, so we can't really make use of that. So instead, I want to make a progression goal that is related to what I'm doing. And that is, I want to make a new opening system for this treasure hall, treasure building, treasure room. So instead of just having a button here that opens the door, it works, it's simple, it's easy to use, but I don't want easy to use. In short, I want it to be a bit more of a challenge to open this door. And so I'm thinking of having a system that gives the player a bit of a challenge to open the door. And for that, we're going to use some redstone, which is the technology aspect of this game. It was introduced several updates ago, but well before Minecraft Alpha, so I did not include it as a progression goal. But we have been gathering redstone anyway, so I wanted to use it for a progression goal in this series. Alright, so let's go pick up some redstone, put them on a chest, and let's discuss what we want to do. Turns out, we don't really need the chest for this, since these are the materials that we have to start building this thing. Now, I am thinking of using some blocks over here to have a little bit of a platform. And for our button selector panel as well. Looking for 5, 6, 7. We're gonna use those. Our button selection. Then we're gonna have it be covered by grass over here. How about we use slabs for this as well? Yeah. So here we have our button selection panel. So we're gonna need stone for that. I'll be right back. Get some stone. And we're back. We got some stone, some other materials. So if we want to make buttons, we need to use stone for that. We use 2 stone to make a button. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4. I wonder if we can place them on the floor. We cannot, actually. That's interesting. Okay, let's use some cobblestone for that then. No, how about not cobblestone? How about cobblestone here? Maybe use some more wood instead. But then again, the redstone will have to pass underneath here, right? Let's figure this out first. Alright, so this is what we currently have, what we currently decided where the buttons should be. I just placed them on the platform here so that we can press them. I'm thinking that what what I want to do is, since I'm called 13-4, I want to press buttons 1, 3, and 4 to open the door. Hopefully in that order if I can figure it out. But I'll be happy if I can even get it so that just having all three pressed at the same time would open the door. That's gonna be my goal for this episode. And that's gonna be my progression goal for this version of Minecraft. Now let's start digging underground. And let's make ourselves a little bit of a room to start working on this system. Okay, so we now have a little bit of space for our redstone contraption over here, our redstone system. So the door should be over this block, so that's what we need to power. And to do that, we're going to use something called the redstone torch, which is simply just a stick and a piece of redstone on top. As you can hear, the door should have opened now. So it will remain open as long as that redstone torch is on, because the redstone torch by default is powered. Now what happens when we power the block it's placed on? Well, when you send power from a powered source like this redstone torch over here, send power to the block the redstone torch is placed on, then it loses its power and the door should have now closed. There we go, the door is now closed. So, other ways we could provide power is by these buttons over here. So we're going to use the combination of these buttons to send power or to not send power to this redstone torch over here. That's what we're going to figure out. First though, we need to make sure that we're actually receiving the input from these buttons. To do that, I use this wool and trying to separate all four button inputs, because the buttons are here, 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 and here. So we're going to try to separate all of them. There you go. And then the last one here. That should be that button pressed. But that button sending power. So let's check. Since, as you can barely see over there, it turns red or turns a brighter red. There you go. That's how you know that the redstone is powered. There's a little bit of light comes through. Now this is still quite cramped, so we're gonna figure out how to separate all of these signals and make sure that the right combination turns off this torch and turns on this torch and opens the door. Okay, so how are we gonna use the inputs from the buttons to power or depower the door? Well, we're going to use something called the logic gate, and in this case, we're going to use something called an AND gate. AND meaning both input 1 and input 2 need to be turned on for the power so that we can say that this is powered. So if only one is turned on, then there's no change to that. If only the other is turned on, there's no change to that. However, if we both turn it on, wait, it's not connected, is it? There you go. Let's do that again. So if only one's turned on, nothing happens. If the second one's turned on, nothing happens. But if we both turn it on, something changes with this torch over here. It's now receiving power through this redstone line, and it is now turned off. Now, using the same concept, we now have here a four-way AND gate, which means that all four of these need to be powered in order to have any change in the redstone line back here. For some reason, it's not depowering, but you should now see that this is now powered by the logic gate. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure that this signal gets to our redstone torch up here. To do that, we're gonna use this, use that, and then we're gonna use that. Oops. Just gonna use a redstone torch tower in order to get our signal to our redstone torch. There you go. So, since all 4 gates are powered, the door is now closed. However, if any of the buttons are not pressed, then the door should close. So that's the basic idea. Now to wire it so that 1, 3, and 4 would open the door, but having 2 on doesn't really change anything. Alright, so all 4 buttons have been wired directly to each part of the logic gate. So if we power all of these levers, then the door should open. We hear door opening, and if we close any of the doors, the door should close. Now, I want number 2 to not be on to open the door. So I'm going to use redstone torch in order to invert the signal. And so even though the lever is off here, the door should be open. So it is time for the moment of truth. Is it possible for us to time the buttons such that they are all on at the same time? The button stays pressed for less than a second. Let's see whether we can time it. No, we cannot. Yeah. So, we're gonna have to extend that time even just a little bit, especially for button number 1 over here. We're gonna need to find a way to extend that pulse from less than a second to perhaps a second or more to make sure that we are powering the logic gate at the right time. So this is the first idea I had to extend the pulse by having this repeater sort of thing over here where this is powered, then this gets unpowered, this gets powered to repower the line after a delay. I was hoping that we could use that to extend the pulse even just by around 0.2 of a second. However, what happens is, if we keep it on, if we turn it on, the line actually stays on because of this redstone torch over here. So it actually never goes off. And so what happens is that we now only need 3 and 4 to open the door, which is technically okay, but is not exactly intended behavior, is it? And either way, just the delay between these 2 buttons is enough to make the door opening very, very short. So we need to think about it some more. So I'm trying to put several repeaters on button number 1 to give it some more delay. However, I immediately started to regret giving myself so little space. The 3rd repeater is already about to hit our main door mechanism over here. So yeah, it's gonna take a little bit more fiddling. So let's keep going. Hi sheep, help me think. No, don't leave me. You need to think with me. Okay, another thing I need to consider is that a button is powered for exactly 1 second or for 10 redstone ticks. And so even if I'm able to put the delay at the right places for each of the 3 buttons I want to be powered, I have at most 1 second to enter the door. That's quite interesting. So for now, let's keep working on that delay. I'm going to be timing the delay between pressing each button in order for me to estimate how much delay I need to add to each button to make sure that I am able to enter the door with the most time possible. So at most it'll be 1 second, but we'll see how long the door will remain open. Okay, so it takes around a second for me to click one button, then to click the next. While these two are relatively quick, only like half a second between those two. So what I need to do is to put around 15 click delay, so around 15 redstone torches worth of delay for button number 1. For number 3, around 5 redstone torches worth of delay. And then for button number 4, there should be no delay at all. So this space is now useless to me. Unless I use that to give enough space for button number 3, I guess. Okay. We have a better idea now of what we need to do, so let's keep going. Okay, with a second's worth of delay between first button and third and fourth, so we should now be able to open the door even if just for a moment. Yeah, the door opens for just a moment for now, but we're gonna put some more delay on the third button so that it opens correctly once we press the fourth button. So it looks like I got the timing right now. But the problem is, I don't reach the door fast enough. So, as a last-ditch effort to keep this door open, I'm gonna put a delay between pushing the right buttons and opening the door. So I already have one repeater here, so I'm gonna add a few more to make sure that I can get to the door as it opens. But yeah, so far it's just me adding like 5 repeaters to button number 1, 2 repeaters to door number 2, to button number 3 rather, and then no repeaters to button number 4. So then 3 more repeaters this time to the mechanism to the door itself, and then that should be it for opening this door. Alright, many repeaters worth of delay added to button number 1, button number 3, and the door later. Let's see whether we can actually enter our treasure hall again. Yes! We are finally able to install a system that is able to take 3 button presses and turn it all into an opening door. And of course, getting out is still as easy as it was. So, with that, we were able to finish what we wanted to do this episode. And in fact, we were able to finish our progression goal for Alpha 1.0.15. And as quick as it was, there wasn't really much else that was added to this version of Minecraft, so I decided on a relatively simple... Oops. There you go. On a relatively simple task. Well, simple in the sense that there's only one task, but rather complicated in that it was hard to figure out what was going wrong. But anyway, with that, we have finished our progression goal for Alpha 1.0.15, and we'll be moving on to the next version of Minecraft in the next episode. I hope you learned with me as you try to deal with old redstone. But if you want to see more from me, please do feel free to subscribe. But for now, the grind continues. Goodbye, everyone!